back. Thanks for coming. It's the Hotline show. It's the 80th one. We're keeping it there. It's not 82, it's not 79, it's 80. We're at 80. Today is November 2nd, 2025. Wow, what a week. What are we thinking about? Did you see that? I picked this up. I've been doing this thing where, you get electronics in boxes. They become the perfect shadow box frame. I think everyone should try that. A little arts and crafts project. That's so fun. Do it with the kids. It's kind of hard to get the size right. I always end up either cutting it too big and then I gotta pull it out and then I do it and then it's too small. Then you just wasted a whole piece of paper. Photograph ruined. I've been thinking about algorithmic virality. Do you know what that is? I don't think it's really a term. Maybe it is. Could look it up, but it's basically how things go viral now. It's not really based on something you've never seen before, something unique. I don't know, maybe, partly. The machine really chooses based on a number of factors. We all know how the internet works now. But after a certain number of signals are hit, like shares, comments, engagement, the platforms will boost your shit like crazy. They'll send it skyrocket, hyperbolic. No, that's not the word. Whatever, you know what I mean. It's just like, it's going, people like it. And then it's like crazy. It goes up. Here's a chart of some recent algorithmic virality that happened to me. Actually, this was the dining room table. But everything before and after that moment, October 15th or so, is my normal engagement. Funny enough, this also looks like my income. If you could have negative engagement, just a couple of those, this is basically what my year looks like on every year. But anyway, this is what happens. You have something, it gets popular, it goes crazy, it consumes your life 24 hours, and then like a faucet, they shut it off. And then it's gone. And 2 days later, it's like it never happened. And everyone has forgotten about it. It's really interesting and it's really crazy. And it makes you crazy. Everyone will experience this once in their life. It's kind of the new Andy Warhol 15 minutes of fame. It's like 24 hours of virality. And it gives you like an ego, like you think you're special. And if you do it more than once, it really starts giving you an ego where you think you're onto something, but you're not. You're nothing. Did you see this Petapixel article, the most prompted photographers on AI image generator Midjourney revealed? This is kind of fascinating on a number of levels, and we're not going to get too deep into it, but I was looking at it and I thought it was really interesting for a variety of reasons. It's like, I think mostly because it's like, who are the most famous photographers, right? If you ask like any normal person, who are they going to say? Well, Annie Leibovitz, number one, absolutely. Everyone knows her. I think she is the most famous photographer maybe of all time, and also one of my favorites. I know people do not like her. I think that's fucking bullshit. People who don't like her, I'm like a little suspicious of. Listen, I get it. Celebrity portraiture, whatever. But when she's good, she's really fucking good. And I think that is undeniable. And when you see people saying some bullshit that it's not, there's something, I don't think I'm not going to accuse, but there's a few things. So that's Annie. Helmut Newton, it's interesting. Number 2, I mean, yeah, that's cool. I mean, people love fashion, people love being horny. So that makes sense. Sandy Skulglund, I'm not going to lie. I've never heard of this photographer before. Listen, there's a lot of photography out there, and I think I'm tuned in for the most part. But sometimes I just didn't know who this was. But that's cool. I get it. You know, it's like really constructed stuff. It's funny. It's like she makes these photographs, makes them, constructs them. And of course, people would want to generate them with AI. Got Nan Golden, of course. And this actually is going to play into that like snapshot aesthetic. Gregory Crewdson, come on. Amazing classic. Of course, you're going to want that cinematic light. Make it cinematic, like Gregory Crewdson. You got Petra Collins, which makes a lot of sense because this is like real Gen Z icon, I think. She's probably a millennial, but her work is for Gen Z and just dreamy. Give me dreamy, atmospheric, soft. Elsa Bleda, no idea who this is. In fact, I think I've seen photos like this and just assumed they were AI, but, you know, good for her. I think it's a her. Ansel Adams, of course, maybe the true most famous photographer of all time, at least in terms of name recognition. He's even got stamps. But this is classic landscape. Give me a landscape that looks like Ansel Adams. And then it's just going to give you a black and white landscape with mountains. Bob Ross of photography. Man Ray, interesting. This is kind of a little art school, but you know, I think people who are using AI are definitely in art school. Some of them. Avedon, most classic portrait photographer ever. I mean, if you don't like Annie, you probably like Richard. If you're going for a style, it's face, black and white, tones. Stunning. I say the 200 most prompted photographers on Midjourney, and I scrolled through this looking at the names. Wanted to see if my name was in there, and it isn't. And I get it. I mean, I don't know if my style is necessarily something people would be like, give me a Noah Kalina or something. My work is often ripped off, but it's conceptually ripped off. It's not the style of the photo. It's the concept that I do. So I see my concepts taken all the time, but the style in which I make it is not. So it's okay. Although when you go all the way to the end, you see 6 prompts. Arnie Svensson. You're telling me that 7 people didn't try to make photos like Noah Kalina? Come on, this kind of hurt my feelings. Come on, rip me off in every technology. I've got a few friends on this list, including Spencer Tunick. I don't know if you know Spencer. He's like one of my favorite photographers. In fact, he's one of these photographers that have been in my head since I was in school, like 19 years old, 20 maybe. I saw a documentary on HBO and I was like, this guy is so fucking crazy.
It's going to be between 46th and 45th Street on Broadway. Everyone over here that's posing has to come in. Oh yeah! All right, some people come up here. No, down. Don't smile. Head 1, 2, 3, go. Go, Carla. Chris, those guys, don't lie like that. Hurry up, Spencer. No prompts yet, so hurry up.
If you don't know Spencer, actually, here's one of his books. Reaction Zone. You've seen his work. It's usually large scale, hundreds, if not thousands of nude people in the landscape. And I just think what he does is spectacular. He actually grew up in the county that I live in now, and he's always around, and we have become friends. And to me, that's like incredible. I'm hoping to go over to his studio and maybe bring a camera and talk to him about his work, because I think that might be an interesting video. But whatever the case may be, he's a friend, and I texted him and I was like, you're on this list. You know, what do you think of that? He's like, are people using my art to make new art, or is it just an interpretation of my work? I hate how the naked body and mass renders on AI. Photoshop is okay. Well, that's Spencer reacting to that. I think he just kind of knows at this point that people are going to do shit, and it's like he doesn't necessarily get it, and it's just going to happen, and this is life. Maybe he will try it at some point. I bet he probably has tried to experiment one way or another. It looks like he has tried to render tons of people naked in AI. I think most people on this list are just going to be like, yep, that's life. That's what, I think in some ways it's kind of an honor to have people want to rip your style. I mean, does it suck? Maybe. Do people who generate photos based on is that not cool? Yes. But is it going to happen? Yeah. And what are you going to do? Well, at least people know your name. I think that's how I see it. Anyway, this is the Hotline Show. It's a little different today. I'm at the desk. I've been enjoying sort of talking at the desk. If you don't know, I have a Patreon, and I've been doing these studio sessions where I talk here and look at my screen. So if you don't know, patreon.com/thehotlineshow, check it out. There's more of these videos there. We're going to answer some questions. That's how it works. There's a number. It's in the description below. You call, you leave a message, you ask a question. Usually it's about photography because that's like what I kind of know about. This is what I do, but I truly do not like any of it anymore. And I will do anything to talk about anything else. So you can call, you can ask about photography. I'm going to talk you out of it. And then I'm going to say, what else are you maybe interested in? Is there another art? Maybe you want to get into finance or, real estate. You're going to end up going there anyway. Phone lines are open. Leave a message. Can be about anything. We have 3 calls today. First one, Julie.
Hi, Noah. I thought I'd call and ask you what you think about daylight savings time. I feel like it's a topic that you enjoy. Okay, bye for now.
Julie from Scotland, living in Idaho. Amazing. Daylight saving and standard time is one of my favorite topics. Today, November 2nd, 2025, the clocks changed last night. We fall back. We got an hour more in the morning. So that now means where I live, 6 a.m., the sun rises. To me, that is how it should be. I believe in standard time. It does mean that the days are shorter. So I think the sun will set tonight where I live at 4:30 p.m. So that's a short day. And I get that. I get why people might be upset about that. But that's just the cycle of time and rhythm. And we should carry that on throughout the whole year if we were to keep one. People don't like changing the clocks. It like messes up their sleep schedule or whatever. Yeah, that is a thing. What, you've never been on an airplane and traveled from the West Coast to the East Coast? It's the easiest jet lag to get over. So come on, it's okay to change the clocks. And in fact, because this is a controversial topic, and I think a lot of people prefer daylight saving time, not savings. There's no S. You leave off the last S for savings.
Dial 1-800-MATTRES and leave off the last S for savings.
Daylight saving. People want to keep that forever. So there's more light in the afternoon. Okay, I mean, I guess, but I don't agree with that because in the winter it gets, people who like to do things and get things accomplished wake up early. And it sucks to wake up at 5 a.m. and it's not light out till 9, which could happen in the winter if we keep daylight saving time. So I prefer standard time, which keeps that sunrise more realistic, especially in the dead of winter. I know that people with their kids and after school, all this shit, they get upset about it. I know it sucks, which is also why in many ways I'm all about keeping it as it is, where we do change our clocks. I would say if we had to keep one, it should be standard time, but both ways are kind of bad, especially in the dead of winter. So you might as well do the compromise and change the clock. It's okay. You can get over it. It's 1 hour. In 3 days, you're back to normal. So that's where I am on standard time. There's an article by this guy on the Tangle, Isaac Saul, the daylight savings debate. I really highly recommend listening to this. This is from March 2022, but he really breaks it down and tells you I think the history and then the pros and cons and the arguments and on both sides. And then he gives his take, which I agree with, which is it's a shitty situation, but if you're going to pick, you keep it as it is. Thank you, Julie. Next call, Graham.
Hi Noah, this is Graham from Scotland. I've been a fanboy for a long time. I used to follow you when Instagram was good, and I became aware of you alongside Katie Rogers, Jamie Beck, Ann Street Studio, Dina Fierro. And I've been following you for a long time. Keep up the good work. I was just curious if you're aware of a English sculptor and photographer called Andy Goldsworthy, who resides in Scotland and has a series of work about walls, or as we call them here in Scotland, dikes. And he made a beautiful sculpture, the Storm King Art Centre, I think in New York, and it also has great exhibitions all over the world and fantastic photography books. I feel like with your wonderful acreage and countryside, that if that's something you'd ever thought about doing. Anyway, just from signing off from me and the crows here on the nature trail outside of Arbroath in beautiful Scotland.
Graham from Scotland. Thank you for calling. I appreciate that. 2 people from Scotland today. Amazing. Yeah. Andy Goldsworthy. Absolutely. One of my favorite artists of all time. I might have all of his books. Here are 2 of his books. I think this one, Ephemeral Works, is maybe his most famous, but then I have this one called A Collaboration with Nature. I have the book called Wood over there. I'm going to put this over. Let me put this over here. His books are really heavy. I was worried if I put it on my desk here, it would collapse the whole thing. Yeah. Working in nature, working with nature, nature as a medium, the ephemeral ideas about nature, things, the temporary. I love it. I think his sculptures are just unbelievable. And I've seen his dike walls, his stone walls, in many places. San Francisco, the one in Storm King, not too far from where I live. It's unbelievable, amazing. I try to do stuff around my property. I dabble, but I don't really know how to add to it, at least not yet. I've only really been like really truly paying attention to my land and property seriously over the past 5 or 6 years. I've been here double that, 12 years or so, but early on I was traveling much more, so I didn't have my eye on the land as much as I do now, because I'm here and I'm enjoying it so much more to focus on the land and really seeing how it changes and the landscapes and what I can do. And one thing that I've noticed about the new property that I got, and including mine, all of the trees that we see, even the ones right behind here, they're all relatively new, past 50, 60 years tops. This used to be cleared like pasture, farmland. You could see the river because there were no trees over there. So I've been working through the woods and really seeing the landscape. It's absolutely unbelievable. Like you can see how they used to lay it out. And because I have this stone wall that like literally wraps almost the entire perimeter of my property, you can imagine what it was like. And it's really spectacular. Now, am I doing anything with it? I am, sort of, but I don't think it is anything serious yet. I mean, it's art to me. I don't know if it's art for the masses, but it is a hobby of mine. And I don't know, maybe eventually I can turn it into something. People have said I should landscape for other people, but when I think about that, I start thinking like, I only really like to do it for myself. And one thing about landscaping is how slow it is. And I don't really know if I am experienced enough to imagine what things should look like in other places that I'm not as familiar with. It takes a long time to really truly understand the place that you live. And I wouldn't want to just dabble on someone else's land. So my land, little by little, is becoming a project, but it might be 10, 20, 30 years down the road when it's something significant. Thank you so much, Graham. I appreciate it. Call back anytime. Last caller.
Hi Noah, it's Irv from England. I've been thinking about this question for a while now, and seeing that you had 1 week without any questions, which blew my mind, I thought I'd make the time to send you a voicemail with it in. I have a number of photographic series or subjects that I think are fantastic but haven't had any traction when I've shown them to people. What have you got in your oeuvre that is a real pet subject for you but has no external popularity?
Irv, thank you so much for that call. Great question. Yeah, well, this show is one of those things. It's really fun for me to make. I sometimes think it's really good. But there's not a whole lot of external popularity to it. It's modest. That's the best way to put it. There's stuff I do on my land, which I was just talking about. There's this one project I call The Circle, where I've been photographing this one particular location that I call The Circle over time. Now, this is something that I truly enjoy doing, but I totally understand why no one else would give a shit. So there's definitely that. I mean, I think most art in many ways you do because you're into it, right? Like that's all that really matters. Does it motivate you? Does it inspire you to keep going out and making things? If that is it, that's all that really matters, truly. Do we need it to be popular enough to make us famous, to have a show, to have people want to collect it? Well, those are goals that you can try to achieve. Now, certainly there's a number of projects that I've done over the years that start off as something that it's only me who's interested, and then little by little people become attracted to it and it becomes something bigger, even including my everyday project, the picture of my face. Like, that was just something I did for myself. And initially people thought it was fucking nuts. And then as time changed and society changed, culture changed, mediums in which we consume artwork changed, and then it became popular. So, that happens. Sometimes we think of projects that will have a commercial goal to it. I mean, when I do my chickens, I know people, like, it's a popular thing. People enjoy animals and they like that. I don't know. They like chickens more than humans. I think portraits of people are really hard as art. They're good for editorial. They're good for history. They're bad as something that people might want to collect. It's rare that people will want to just buy a photograph of a person's face that they will then put in their house. Like photography like that is generally considered personal and family. So when you do have faces on your walls, it's usually people you know. But when it comes to photography that people might want to collect, it's landscapes, it's chickens, it's animals, it's what else is there? Usually landscapes. Put a Ansel Adams on the wall, because it's actually not hard. It's not offensive. Photography is really tough to have a broader sort of appeal. Actually, most photography, because most people can do it themselves, they don't really assign much value to it beyond that. So there needs to be a deeper story usually, or just something so technically interesting and perfect, the object itself becomes something you want to hold and collect. I've done projects that are real duds. I don't know if I was looking through trying to think like, everything I can make in one way or another into something that might appeal to other people or not, but it doesn't matter. I'm looking at this series of views that I did when I used to travel a lot and photograph the view because I thought it was so funny and ironic that I'd be in like San Diego, it's, and then it's a parking lot outside the window. Like that's the view. I think that's funny. So to me, it's just like finding something that I think is interesting that I want to dedicate some time to and just working through it. And will there ever be a big audience for it? Maybe not. But are you just working through things? I think fortunately for photographers, we can work on multiple projects simultaneously. So maybe, one for me, one for them. Or 5 for me, 1 for them. And little by little, it just becomes part of your larger body of work. I hope that was interesting or useful. I'd love to see what you're working on. Send it along. We're just shooting the shit. Will something stick? What makes anything good? Is anything good anymore? Who are our audiences? I don't know. Is someone going to come and save you? They're going to be like, this is it. Let's put it in all the museums and all the galleries. Give them a book. Put them in a magazine. I've had that happen, and then what? Nothing. It's cool. It feels good. It feels like you're being seen, but then you just got to do it again. Forever. That's the show. If you're still here, thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. Do this stuff, like, subscribe, call the number. It's in the description below. Go out there and stay positive. If you can. I know, or just be negative. Actually, let's everyone take this week. Let's all be negative and then come back and then we'll be positive. Till I see you again next week. Maybe.